Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today's video is going to be kind of a sit down video. I'm going to be giving you guys tips on how to grow out natural hair, or tips on how to make your curly hair just grow. Tips on how to grow out hair, basically. And at first it was going to be 10, but I decided, hey, I could give a little more, so it's 12. And yeah, with all that being said, I hope that you guys do enjoy this video. I hope that some of these tips can be helpful to you, because I'm not gonna lie, they have been helpful to me. And before I get started, this is just a quick disclaimer. No, I have never big chopped. I've never had a perm. I've been born with long hair, but I was transitioning for the longest through heat damage. So here are some of the things that I did to help rejuvenate my curls. Okay, so tip number 1 is to find curly hair products that work best for your hair. If you're using something that doesn't really work well with your hair, or a product that may work well on somebody else but not you, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for or the results that you want. And I can't stress that enough, how frustrating that can be. You don't want to use something that doesn't work well with your hair. And I'm not going to lie, this probably will take a while to find your holy grail products, as I like to call them, because it did take a while myself. But once you find those, I do highly suggest sticking with those, because that's what's going to help you get through your journey and get you the results that you want. Step number 2 is accepting your curly hair pattern. If you just accept your pattern, what your hair likes, then that is going to be what's going to be easier for you. You don't want to be stressing trying to make your hair type like somebody else's, because first things first, everybody has different hair. Nobody has the same exact hair type. You can't change your natural pattern. You stick with it and you learn to like it and enjoy it and love it, and I promise you that your hair journey will be fun. The tip that I have for you guys is to deep condition weekly. Being a natural, having curly hair, as you may know, you already have naturally dry hair, and we need to retain as much moisture as possible. Now, based on your hair, or based how often you wash your hair, I don't know, but me having thicker hair, I will wash once a week. I deep condition every time I wash my hair. And that's basically what helps me seal in the moisture that I've lost from shampooing. It helps strengthen your hair back, and it just gives your curls that extra little boost that they need after like a week of being manipulated and touched and all that. So it just helps refine your curls back to their natural state. My next tip is to stick with a hair regimen. And what a hair regimen is basically a list of things that you do throughout your month for your hair. And it's basically like a list of instructions to just follow over and over and over again each month. So each week out of each month you do something different to your hair. A hair regimen is something that you can just go off of, and it'll help you keep on track with your hair care and your hair growth, and it'll also just be a balance out of what your hair will need during one day versus what it'll need during at the end of the week. The next tip that I have for you guys is to trim often if necessary, and if you have any damaged ends, to just snip them off. Now, if you don't want to lose length, which I personally do understand, you can gradually trim your damaged ends off over time to retain some of your length. But I can't stress enough how much split ends, damaged ends, how big of a setback that is, because you're not going to see any results, just certain steps to get to what you really want. And you will see tremendous growth if you just get rid of those ends or whatever it is that's probably holding you back. You don't want to have scraggly ends, because what split ends can do is they will continue just working their way up the hair shaft if it's at the bottom of your hair, and you don't want to have more damage than you already do. So why not just gradually just snip, not even an inch if you don't want to, just a little bit gradually, and you will see results quicker than you will see them with if you just leave your ends on your hair. The next tip that I have for growing out your hair is to try using some protective styles. I myself personally, I've never worn a weave before or had braids, but I do know that getting box braids or the micro braids, Senegalese twists, Marley twists, dread extensions, anything like that. I really do think that it could help, or does help, with hair growth, especially. What they do, I'm pretty sure majority of you probably know this, but for those of you who don't, it just locks your hair up and you don't touch it or manipulate it or anything like that, and your hair just grows in its natural state, in its natural way. And that's one thing that you need to make sure is important, is you don't want to manipulate your hair so much to where it can't work on its own, if that makes sense. Also, you could just wear a simple bun, and that helped me tremendously, because when I had heat damage, I would either do braid outs or I would just wear my hair up in a bun. You could still make buns look cute. You could dress them up, you could dress them down. Either way, you're not touching your hair, you're not manipulating it. So protective styles are the way to go, you guys. The next tip that I have for you guys is to not use brushes or anything like that. If you have curly hair, especially thick, coarse hair, or hair like mine that's thick but still kind of fine, you don't want to be brushing and combing and just all of that when you're trying to detangle your hair. You want to stay, I know you want to stay tangle free, but at the same time, you don't want to rip your hair out. So brushing it is obviously a no-go. For finger detangling or combing or whatever it is that you feel is necessary for your hair, from the ends to your roots is the way to go, because you don't want to start from the root to your ends. That's not good for your hair, because that's a setback. So yeah, finger detangling or using a wide tooth comb, being very gentle with your hair, is what also can help some growth. Okay, so the next tip that I have for you guys is to use little to no heat. Heat is the #1 setback, I believe. If you have, let's say, your hair straightened anyway, if you straighten your hair regardless, having curly hair, it's going to alter your curl pattern a little bit. And it may not even alter it that much to where it's noticeable. Every 3 days, whatever it is that you do, that can really have an effect on your hair growth. Is going to stunt it, and it's just going to make your hair very brittle, easy for breakage. Straightening your hair is a setback for real. If you need to straighten it, like, I'm not saying, oh no, anti-flat iron, no blow drying, you can't do that. I'm not saying that, but just watch out on the amount of heat that you use on your hair. The next tip that I have, and it's very simple and can make a big difference not only for your hair or overall, is to eat healthy, eat nutritious foods, and drink water. It's not only going to change what how your hair responds to certain things or your hair growth, but it's also going to give you prettier skin, nail growth, whiter teeth, stuff like that. Like, you're going to be healthy overall, and I just feel like that's very important. Also, it should just have a balanced, healthy eating habit, eating diet, whatever you want to call it, and drinking water. The next thing I have for you guys is no bleaching. If you feel the need that you want blonde and to just go big and bold, then go for it, but I wouldn't recommend bleaching, because bleaching is really hard on the hair. What I would suggest is to go like naturally lighten your hair, or you can just go to the salon, get a light color or whatever, but do it gradually, because going from a dark hair color to just a blonde, like bam, no, it's gonna have a very negative impact on your hair. Having light hair, period, is just harder to manage, and it's more dry than your natural hair already is. It's easier for breakage. It's just, it requires way much more TLC than your hair already needs. Sleeping on a satin pillowcase or using a satin scarf when you go to sleep. Many of you guys have asked me what it is that I do when I lay down, go to sleep. And what I do is I use a satin scarf and I pineapple up my hair, and then I sleep on a satin pillowcase. Now, if you don't have a satin pillowcase, if you have just a cotton pillowcase, like a standard, just make sure you use a satin scarf, and vice versa. If you don't have a satin scarf, sleep on a satin pillowcase. On a satin pillowcase with a satin scarf, you're good to go. Go to sleep, wake up, and your hair is still soft and fluffy. And the final tip that I have for you guys is patience. I can't stress that enough. You're not gonna have a fun hair journey if you're rushing your hair, always like, oh, I don't see any growth, I don't see any changes, it's been 2 days, it's been a week, she told me to do this and I'm getting this. I'm telling you guys, it's a process, and it may not be fun in the beginning, but you just gotta push through it and work through it, because when I tell you I came from so far with my heat damage, having heat damage is no fun. Transitioning is no fun. I get that, and you want the results, but it's also fun to explore and learn to know your hair. Treat your hair as if basically like a baby, like you need to nurture it. And I know it sounds silly, but that's what you need to do to get to where you want or to start seeing results. And patient. You don't want to stress and not have fun with this, because then you're not going to want to do it anymore. You're just going to give up. Having patience, knowing that you're going to end up somewhere with your hair is key, because everybody starts somewhere. I did, and I still have a goal that I'm planning to reach. But like having a goal, sticking with it, and just dealing with your hair as you can. Yes, it's gonna get on your nerves sometimes. I completely understand that, but just dealing with it is gonna get you somewhere. I promise. And with all that being said, I do hope that you guys did enjoy this video. I hope that some of these tips were kind of helpful to you. And if I didn't mention anything, or if you still have a question about something, feel free to comment below, and I will try my best to answer in a clear way for you, and try my best to answer quickly. And I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!